Michael Irvin, Dallas Cowboy Hall of Famer. Are the Cowboys the best team in the NFL?
Skip, when I look at this, and I've been talking about, and I talk about watching teams and studying teams and who has that ability to go to a Super Bowl, just like Jimmy used to always, you break this thing down in those three groups: offense, defense, special teams. And we talked about in week one what the defense and special teams did. So we wanted to see what this offense will be when they face a historically great defense. And that's what everybody was talking about when we talked about what the Jets have, and they do have a great defense. But that last unit that we are checking on ran 83 offensive players against that historically great defense.
Yep.
All of these questions we had about Tony Pollard being able to carry the load, he had 32 touches, over 109 yards, scrimmage yards on this historically great defense.
25 carries, 32 touches.
32 touches, so he can carry the load if you can carry it against a historically great defense. CD Lamb came in with a huge game against this historically great defense.
11 for 143.
Absolutely.
And I think Sauce was guarding him some of the time, if not.
Yeah, Sauce, you know, they got into a little Twitter beef and everything.
Well, Saucy, yeah, he got saucy last night. He took his account down on Twitter because he got sick and tired of people criticizing him for not being able to cover CD Lamb.
And that goes with the territory, too, because you're in the defensive backfield, and Sauce don't go in and slide and everything. So we just talked about prime. If I'm on the football field and they're throwing the ball at me, people wanted to see Deion covering. You know what I mean? So Sauce, if you want to be considered like Deion, you got to get all of this down and move around with the team. That's just the reality. But that offense, Skip, it put on a show. And Dak Prescott threw for 255 yards, the biggest thing in there. Again, second week straight, that donut in the INT. You can't tell me now.
Zero.
They look clearly like the best team in the NFL. Now, I know you have some issues with Dak, so come on now. You got to give Dak his love.
All right.
You got to give Dak his love here.
I thought he played pretty well yesterday. If I'm going to be totally objective up front,
give it to me.
They were 2 out of 6 in the red zone. You can do better than that. You need to cash better than that. But the flip side of that is I'm big on place kick. I hate place kicking. I hate place kickers because they have too much impact on the scoreboard. They win or lose 4 or 5 games a year. And Jerry Jones has little to no use for him, no respect for him. So they go out and get this kid, Brandon Aubrey, from nowhere. Didn't even play college football at Notre Dame. He's a soccer player at Notre Dame. Played 2 years in the USFL kicking, played a little bit in Canada kicking. Never had kicked in the NFL, missed his first extra point on opening night against the Giants. And since then, he's made 13 straight kicks and a whole bunch of field goals, because 5 yesterday. This team has now won 9 straight games at Jerry World.
Right.
There were years after you guys left in the 90s, years on end, when Darren Woodson used to tell me, your friend and mine from my ESPN days, he used to say they've lost their home field advantage because opponents come into that building thinking, oh, this is a national stage. They have concerts. They have Final Fours. They have big boxing matches. They have everything there. It's the world stage. It's not the Cowboys stage. All of a sudden, dating back obviously last year, they've won 9 straight games. They're starting to reformulate a strong home field advantage that you guys had back in the 90s because you won 12 straight from 91 to 92, and I'm a little foggy on this game. I asked you before the show about it, but you finally lost to the Rams. It would have been your 13th straight win. It was Chuck Knox coach and Jim Everett at quarterback. You had a big day that day. You caught 8 for 168, but you lost 27 to 23. Well, that was the only loss for a long time in that stretch when you became a dynasty, because this was at Texas Stadium, obviously. But you guys own Texas Stadium. Nobody wanted to go in there and play you guys, right? Right.
And they open up AT&T Stadium with losses.
They did. And they lost their home field, but it feels like they are starting to get it back. Now to the game record. That's what Tony Romo called him yesterday. Micah, 11 from heaven. Listen, Michael, you've been around this a long time. You played with Charles Haley, who was a game wrecker. But this kid is unbelievable. He's just everywhere.
Everywhere.
To where Zach Wilson is just looking over his shoulder at every second. He terrorized Daniel Jones. He terrorized Zach Wilson. He took the game over. He took the football away from Dalvin Cook. He is playing at another level from what we saw the last 6 games last year when he only had a sack and a half. Maybe he hit that sophomore wall last year. You and I talked about it.
Right.
But he recommitted in the offseason. He went into boxing. He went into jiu-jitsu. And then he did. Yes, he did. He said he put on 10 pounds of muscle weight.
Right.
He looks stronger, but he looks as quick, if not quicker, than ever. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks so explosive on that play.
All right. And speaking of explosive, the original 88 was Drew Pearson. Then you took it up a level. Obviously, you took it to a Hall of Fame level. Not that Drew deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It took forever. He finally got in. All right. Dez was pretty good, but he wasn't Michael. And here comes CeeDee Lamb. Listen, these first 2 games, he, like Micah, is taking it somewhere new.
Yeah.
He's taking it up into an echelon. He's looking top 5-ish to me, right?
And that's where he has to go.
Hey, that was Sauce Gardner. That was a really good defense. They could not deal with him. Again, 11 balls for 143 yards. He was uncoverable. And nobody runs better after. I know Debo's pretty good, but as far as speed, Debo just runs with fury and force. On run after catch, listen, CeeDee Lamb is spectacular. Are you seeing any Michael Irvin in there?
Well, no, CeeDee's a totally different receiver. I even said, Skip, I said this, he's the most physically gifted receiver, I think, put on the 88. You know, Drew was a...
No, he was undrafted out of Tulsa.
Yeah, right, Drew's a different talent, and you love him, and I love him wearing 88 because 8 spiritual stands for new beginning. The guy that goes from walk-on to Hall of Fame. That means he changed his whole world and gave himself a new beginning.
He did, but Drew, I covered him. He played with his heart.
He played with everything. He played with everything. That's why I love it. Then, of course, I get it. But then Dez was phenomenal beast outside. But CD can play outside and he come inside. And what you're seeing inside, when I can't imagine when you get a Brandon Cooks healthy and a Michael Gallup healthy, and they're streaming down the field with CeeDee Lamb working the whole middle of this football field with Dak Prescott. And now they're getting Jalen Tolbert and Turpin involved to make some plays and give this offense some explosiveness. It gets scary if Dak can continue to manage this football. Just manage it. Just keep as close to that zeros over there in that other column. Yeah. This thing. This will be a runaway.
Runaway.
Runaway, as we can start talking about almost a undefeated season.
I won't go to undefeated.
I know it's just week 2, but we're going to be talking about it undefeated. I'm telling you, they have this capability right here, right now. First of all, you just talked about it. Protect this turf. In order to have that mentality comes from, now remember. Just letting you know now, man's opinion is only good as his knowledge based on the subject. I won 58 straight home games in Miami. Still a college record right now.
That's a good
point.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So before we did it in Dallas, I did it in Miami. We did it in Miami. Yeah. That's what you have.
Nobody wanted to go to the Orange Bowl.
Right. Nobody wanted to go. No. So you have to have, and you build that first of all on defense. You got to have the defense. Nobody wants to go in there and play. And Dallas now has that defense in the mentality on that defense. So, this thing here, man, from here on out, we won't take much credit from yesterday because it was Zach Wilson at quarterback, right? And we'll say that. But that was a historically great defense for the Jets. They were playing defense on defense.
They were.
That's what you talk about right there. And they talked about it after the game. We the best defense here. You got to have that mentality. I told Coach yesterday, Coach, I said, Coach, a man's, when he has the right mentality, a man's mentality is his reality, Coach Mariucci. A man's mentality proves his reality. As they say, as a man thinking, so is he. So my mentality is proof of my reality, and they have the mentality now that they are champions.
I don't think there's any question this is the best defense in pro football. I said it through the whole offseason. I respect San Francisco. This defense on firepower, on depth of pass rush, on takeaways, they have all the seeds were planted 2 years ago. They have led the league in takeaways 2 straight seasons. It's hard to do. The Steelers did it back in the 70s.
And to be back on the way doing it.
And they're already up. They're first in takeaways because they got 7 already. Now, Zach gave them 3 little early Christmas presents in the fourth quarter.
It reminds me of a young T. Buckley. He used to be pretty good at it.
T. Buckley.
T. Buckley was real good at it, man.
He did it just like that.
Yeah, he did it. You have to set him up.
So we did give up 1 68-yard touchdown. No shame because, listen, that kid is...
So he's like, oh, man. I mean, we got crazy. It was so much fun watching them.
That play looks like classic, what I call man-free, where there's just one man deep, and it's Malik Hooker.
Right.
He cannot take that. Listen, the kid can fly, and you have to give him some respect and take a wider, deeper angle just to make sure you keep him underneath you, because Stephon can't run with him at this stage in age, all the way across. I noticed in that play that I didn't really want to see it because I don't want people looking at it and attacking it, you know. But I was like, okay, Stephon can't run like he used to. Okay. You know what I mean? But when you just talk about Garrett Wilson, I'm thinking maybe it's Garrett Wilson's speed. He flew off for it. He ran away from him. Stephon Gilmore is still really, really good.
Very good.
He is the final piece to this puzzle. He might be playing more with his head than his overall youth and skill, but he can still run well enough, and he can cover well enough. And he had that one. He had him pushed to where he needed to push him. He just needed...
But Malik Hooker has to be in a better position to understand that. I'm with that.
But
that's
listen,
exactly what I said.
But Garrett Wilson's going to do that to a lot of folks this year. And then Zach Wilson got loose through the front door a couple of times against the pass rush on that last drive, so they got a field goal late. And that is all, folks. That's all we gave up. You were watching yesterday, the best team in professional football. I think they're a little better than San Francisco. Richard Sherman's going to disagree with me on that.
Right now we are. Right now they are. Right now they are. And again, there's a big clash looming in 3 weeks at San Francisco that will tell some tales. But right now we've got at Arizona and then New England at home. We should be 4-0 going to San Francisco. Okay. That is great.
Cannot wait. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.